Welcome back to my mental health and crime channel. My name is Huda London. This is for educational purpose only. This is the case of the Idaho 4. May the victims rest in peace, condolence to the families, and may the correct justice be served. Today I'd like to go back to the very beginning of this case, 13th of November, 2022. There was a lot of rumors, speculations that were going on. I wanted to discuss about one post that was put up on a Facebook group of someone who says he is allegedly related to Brian Christopher Colberger, the man who's been accused of these horrific crimes. I found that post to be very interesting. Brian Colberger accused mass murder, Idaho 4. I'm posting anonymously because Brian is my family, and you people in this group act like vultures and rabid raccoons. Brian is innocent, and you will see he has been framed by his rug partner, friend, the security guard from the university. They were doing rugs together in the parking lot, as they had done numerous times when security guards started acting like a peeping Tom outside the girls' window. Brian left security guard and drove back his apartment. The reason the phone was off is because the battery was flat, and security guard was using the car charger. Brian put his phone on charger when he left the parking lot, and he switched it off. I'm sure the parking place that this person is mentioning has to be the parking place at Queen's apartment, where you can directly see the backside of Idaho, Moscow, 1122 Kings Road. I wonder who the security guard was. Could it have been Brent Colberger, allegedly? I don't think Colberger was a security. But this could actually explain the fact why Brian was near the victims' houses over 23 or 28 times. Makes a lot of sense to me. Now, what is strange is when I hear the part about rugs, it draws my attention because Bettney Funk is Venmo shows that she was selling cocaine. And this person is actually trying to say that Brian was a heroin addict, trigger warning, and that he went down to cocaine because of all the migraines he was having and all the side effects. It's usually known that a person who does A-class drugs have a hard time stopping it altogether. And if they try to stop it, they reduce it to something like the C word, a milder form. So it wouldn't surprise me, as a mental health counselor who knows about people who are on drug addiction, it wouldn't surprise me if he chose this route instead of heroin. So were they buying from Bettney Funk? And why would they be doing rugs in the parking place of Queen's Road? Could it be possible that the security guy lived there? The parking lot, and he switched it back on when he was near to his apartment, because that's how long it took to get a charge going. Brian's KNIFE was in the car, and the security guard was holding it because he was using it to chop the cocaine lines. Yes, I said cocaine, because Brian stopped heroin years back and substituted the rug with cocaine. Makes sense to me. He has tried so hard to stop everything, but he's an addict. And he has had bad migraines, so the cocaine actually helps him. He had no idea security guard was going to do what he did, and he just wanted to teach security guard a lesson by leaving him behind. Brian actually feels terrible that he left this maniac behind, but it's not his fault. You people need to stop with these singing videos and funny pictures of Brian Christopher Colberger. What do y'all think of it? Could that make sense? I believe it's possible. Anything is possible in this case. And honestly, the frats were roaming around that night near the crime scene, near 1122 Kings Road, running away from the crime scene. I would blame them. I'm not accusing them, but I would not blame them. I would want to know what their alibi was, more than Colberger's alibi. So if this security guy, just say, let's test the waters. If this is true, it could make sense why Colberger's been around the area so many times. Because he had a favorite spot, the car parking place where he did his rugs. Okay, they had the K-bar knife because they were lining up the Cocaine. Why K-bar? I find this to be really interesting. So this is allegedly a family member of Colberger saying that. The more I look into the pictures taken inside the house, it makes me actually believe that the fight did not happen downstairs, not at the ground floor or the first floor. There's not even a speck of blood there. That's why Bettney Funk and DM stayed at the first floor. Because they were told, I believe that y'all are much safer there. We have business to handle upstairs. Stay downstairs, allegedly. But the question is, why was the front door left wide open? Somebody saw the door wide open at 8:30 a.m. Wasn't it freezing cold? And let's not forget, it wasn't only Bettney Funk downstairs. DM ran downstairs, and on her way she saw Xana Canoodle lying on the floor. But she thought she was intoxicated and she passed out. So was the front door a decoy to confuse everyone where the entrance and the access point was? What do y'all think? Look at the shock on their faces. These are the neighbors whose doorbell camera was taken as evidence. They heard the loud thud from Xana's room. Look at the girl to the right. She is shocked. That's Heather, and that's her boyfriend, Dakota. They were at the grub truck too. They must have heard the cries for help, the yelling, the fighting. But I don't blame them. Everyone would have locked their doors, especially when you know that it could be the frats, and I'm sure they must have told them, if y'all talk, y'all are next. That's why nobody's talking. When I started focusing on the frats, I was the first YouTube creator to do that, and I kept on doing it, although I was getting a lot of heat for it. I was just watching the whereabouts and what was happening that night, and I knew the frats, especially the Banfield boys, Jack Showalter, the guys at the grub truck like number 9, number 8, putting something in Maddie's mouth, all of them were up to no good, in my opinion. That's why I've never changed my theory about the frats. I've never said drugs are not involved. Drugs could be involved. I don't think it was cartels and such things. I think this is more to do with the university drugs. This has to do more with territories. Because let's not forget, we've seen Emma White in this house, and she was up to no good. Where Emma and Demetrius is, bad news always seems to be lingering on. "1:56 a.m. You see that house straight down? I don't know the number of Kings Road it is. That is the house that has a camera on the brown door. Pay attention to the white truck driving in front of the house. There you go, another frat member, David Lodge. That's his white truck. 1:56. What was he actually doing? Why is David Lodge's white truck driving in Kings Road? So 1:56. This is actually really interesting. Guys, let's remember what happened at 1:56. Wasn't that the time Maddie and Kaylee came home? Ouch! And we have David Lodge's truck driving here at 1:56. Exactly the same time. David Lodge, or should I call you undercover? Undercover dog. That was the YouTube profile and name you were using to attack me. So David Lodge, what is your white truck doing in Kings Road when Maddie and Kaylee came home at this time? Were you spying on them? Were you stalking them? Or could you have attacked Maddie? And Maddie could have run down to Taylor's Avenue, and that's where her jacket was found. Starting to make sense. I've always looked at this picture, and I was the one who found out this camera from that house straight down, the big house. And I've always showed you all this white truck, David Lodge's truck, allegedly driving in front of the house. But I never thought of the timing. 1:56. That is when Eric Gaucho, Eric G, drove Maddie and Kaylee home. 1:56. According to Alivira, Kaylee's sister. She saw that on the DoorDash camera. 1:56. So now we have David Lodge's white truck in front of Kings Road. Driving in front of Kings Road. Pay attention. He's coming from Jack D, his house side, and he's driving, I don't know, straight down towards the Sigma Chi, Nez Drive, or if he takes the left, he's driving towards the victim's house. How interesting. It was all a matter of time that we will piece the puzzles together. Want to give out a big shout out once again to Chaos Sector. I had to laugh. I really laughed when I heard Chaos Sector saying who the London mental health crime ain't gonna let the Sigma Chi fraternity boys or the Sigma Chi fraternity boys and the other frats sneak from the behind door. Thank you for that. Please share, like, watch Chaos Sector, Murder Metal Mayhem, Near's Nuggets, and all the other YouTube creators. Well, the reason I mentioned them is we have almost the same theories. And there are very fair people who give shout-outs where it's deserved. People are different. Some YouTube creators prefer just to take things and never say where they get them from. But I always give out my shout-outs to where I got things from. So now that you see this picture, let's summarize this. We have David Lodge's white truck driving in front of Kings Road. That house you see is driving in front of has a doorbell or DoorDash bell camera, whatever they're called. You'll get my drift. I apologize. I'm running with a really bad cold, migraines, sinus infection, and many other things. But y'all know me. I can't take a break from this case. I want the correct justice to be served, and so does everybody. But I literally mean the correct justice. So we have David Lodge's white truck there. This is the house that has the camera that was recording the white car. I think Brian Colberger just came there to do his line of COCAINE. Maybe like the poster says. Maybe he was keeping on taking U-turns because he's paranoid if he's on drugs. That's nothing new. It could be the security guy, but I really believe we have David Lodge, we have the Frats, we have the Jacks, we have the Banfield boys. We have all the Frats roaming around here. We need to look deeper into this case. This was the house that has a doorbell camera that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. It's very easy to see. The only thing is that there's a light and then the doorbell camera is on top, the black thing you see. So people would automatically think it's a light and not a doorbell camera joined to the light. So this camera was the one of the cameras, and many other cameras, that saw a white Hyundai Elantra. This is the same camera that showed us David Lodge's car. So we have David Lodge at 1:56 at Kings Road, and we have Kaylee and Maddie arriving at Kings Road, 1122 Kings Road, at 1:56. So could David Lodge have attacked them immediately or waited for them to go inside? Were they stalking the girls? Why is he near Jack D's house? Question marks that we need to look deeper into. You have police cars here and you have the FBI SUV there, in my opinion. So they came to take this doorbell camera. This is the house that has the doorbell cam. Now the lights are off, you can see the doorbell cam clearly. So you can see the timeline upstairs. 01:56, 11th, 13th, that's November the 13th, 2022. The night the quadruples took place. You can see that big white house with the brown door straight down. And you can see a white truck passing by it. That is David Lodge's car, his truck. And is driving, it's facing towards Nez Drive. Or it could be swinging into Kings Road. I wish the camera, the recording kept on going so we could see which direction it went to. But it's important to know that is the exact time, 1:56, Kaylee and Maddie came at home. So David Lodge, we can see that you were at Kings Road. And that is important. At 1:56. Did you attack the girls when they got off the car? Guys, let me know what y'all think. Please like, share, and subscribe. Justice for the victims, and may the correct justice be served.